Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening. Welcome to another PMP Q&A session. Today, we will be discussing 10 more questions, and these questions, they cover the entire exam content outline. A lot of people ask how we can join these sessions or how we can find Zoom link. It's simple, easy. Just say hi on this contact number, and my team would be sharing Zoom link with you. Anyone can join, no registration is needed. All right, so let's start question number 1. All right, Mohan, you have chosen option A.
I might have butchered this, but I think um, I I kind of eliminated D because I think I remember you saying that it's not an absolute level of effort; it's relative. Um, then tell them to observe how senior team members assign. I think A was like the best option because you are kind of assuming giving points based on your past experience in terms of complexity um, of the story.
All
That's
right,
what
thank you. Basma, you have chosen option B.
Yeah, I went by elimination. Um, like A, intuition and past experience is fine, but it's not how do you call it, a strong decision. C, senior team, observe what senior team assign numbers. It's not what they should do. And analyze absolute level of efforts, the D1, complexity and uncertainty. I did not see that as a good answer because they should go as to what the baseline story with a known estimate would be, comparing the story with what they're doing right now.
All
But
right,
I'm wrong.
all right, thank you. Alan, you have chosen option C.
Yes. Okay, I start with the elimination technique. For example, advising them to assign number based on their intuition. In this case, this condition could make noise into the decision because he will like maybe some activity that can be easier. He can think that is critical and create like a confusion. So in this case, we need to understand how is the process of this planning poker technique, and that is why I choose eliminate the first one and A, B, and D. So he need to understand first, and that is what I choose C. Tell him to observe how senior team members assign number and follow their lead because they have the knowledge.
All right, so you're saying since we have a junior team member with less experience, so they need to observe how senior members are doing the estimation, and that would be helpful, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, thank you. Francis, you have chosen option B.
Yes, I have chosen option B, but actually I was a little bit more going towards D, but I think I'll stick with the option B. Because once you use the baseline, you can give your score. You can give your card score based on like how many points can I give, based for each and all these story points. But again, for somebody who is not experienced, as I say, I was also leaning towards the complexity of the project to a certain cost can increase the story point. So I'm a little bit not sure about B because I was stuck between these two options, but I still leaning towards the B.
All right, thank you. So problem with option D is that it says recommend them to analyze absolute level of efforts. Planning poker is not an absolute estimation technique. It's a relative estimation technique, as Mohan has mentioned. If it is relative estimation, in relative, we do not estimate absolute level of effort. So those who are not sure what is relative and absolute, so in Agile, we do two types of estimation. One is absolute. Second is relative. So what is absolute? Absolute is, for example, how much time we need to execute this user story. Let's suppose 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours. This is absolute. And what is relative? Relative is we take a user story and then we compare it with the other one. So for example, we have a small one, medium one, and we have a large one. Now this is relative. We're not talking about hours here, right? So this is small, this is medium, this is large. So this is relative estimation, or we are assigning number. Remember that Fibonacci or Fibonacci series? 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. So we assign these numbers based on relative level of effort. It's not the absolute. So option D cannot be the right answer. I hope it is clear to all of you. Advise them to assign number based on their intuition and past experience. We have a junior team members with less experience. So based on past experience and intuition, this would not help here. What we do in when we have planning poker, we take a user story and we make it a baseline user story, right? So this is the baseline, let's suppose with number 5. And any other user story that is compared with the baseline user story and relatively lower number is assigned. So for them to do the estimation, they need to compare with the already baselined user story, right? So this is how estimation is done in planning poker. So correct answer is option B. Suggest that they compare the user story to a baseline story with a known estimate, right? Tell them to observe how senior team members assign numbers and follow their lead. That is correct, but B is very specific answer. C is a generic answer. So B is the correct answer. Let's read the explanation. All right, next question. All right, Monica, you have chosen option B.
Yeah, so an SPI less than 1 means that you are behind schedule, and a CPI greater than 1 means that you are over budget. So
Okay.
I'm changing my answer. So you're over budget. I'm sorry, you're under budget. So cost performance is good. So acknowledge the positive cost performance, and then there's issues with the schedule because you're behind schedule.
All right, so you're not changing your answer. You stick with B, right?
I'm sticking with B. Yes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Francis, you have chosen option D.
Sorry, I was on mute. I didn't realize. I've chosen option D because B doesn't necessarily show the progress because you are behind the schedule, you are over budget. So yet the team really says everything is okay. So technically things are not working out. So I think I'll use another measure just to interpret like what does he mean by things are going on track, yet I see the numbers doesn't doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so you're saying these numbers do not make any sense, so you would be going with D, using another progress measuring mechanism, right?
Yeah, the number don't reflect what the read is saying.
Okay, right. So you got the point. So you're saying team lead is saying work is on track, but numbers do not reflect that. So that's why you need to use another progress measuring mechanism, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Carlos, you have chosen option C.
Yeah, I think that option would, if we ask for an explanation, is very concrete, and they will explain numbers, and we'll understand why they get those numbers.
All right, so this is a tricky question. First of all, one tip for all of you. Read the complete question. If you read the last line, it says, as a PM, what should you do next to evaluate project progress? So you're still in the evaluation stage. What should you need to do to understand the progress? So what's happening here, as Francis mentioned, team leads are saying the work is on track, right? We are performing really well. On the other hand, when you look at SPI, your progress is just 46%. You have just accomplished 46% of the work. There is a huge difference. So first of all, you understand this variance, like why there is a difference between what team members are saying and what actual numbers are saying. So the best choice is, first of all, since they're talking about next option to evaluate project progress, you need to ask for the explanation. Like you're saying, project is on track, but numbers are exactly opposite. Please explain why so. So first of all, you need to identify the reason behind this variance. Maybe these numbers are wrong, or the other way around, maybe team members or team lead, they are misrepresenting numbers, right? So first of all, you need to understand the reason behind this variance for actual progress evaluation. So correct answer is option C. Laila, you have a comment?
No, actually, they're saying that we asked them for explanation, but they're already presenting you like an explanation saying that we're behind. They're saying we're task delayed, which meanwhile the SPI is showing that the schedule is not behind, right? And cost is above the budget. So they're already telling you wrong information, right? How would you ask them to explanation for that?
All right.
So wouldn't it be like,
All right. That's a good point. But Laila, the problem is that they are presenting conflicting information. On one side, they are saying we are on track. On the other side, the number they are presenting, they are showing exactly opposite picture. So it's a conflicting information. So we should trust on what? On their verbal promise, like we are on track, or on the presented numbers. You understand that? Because of this conflict, first we need to clarify, like if the numbers are correct, or whatever you were saying before, that is correct. You understand that? Since there is a conflict, so you need to clarify the conflict first. Only then you would be able to evaluate the project progress. Laila, does it make sense? You understand?
yeah, I guess pointed out that you're showing me something, but you're saying something else. Just give
Yes.
me a clear confirmation which one is correct, right?
Absolutely. Right? Okay, correct answer is option C. Let's read the explanation. All right, next question. So these numbers are different, but the concept is same. Okay, it's a typo. Next question. All right, Carlos, you have chosen option D.
And they all seem right in a way, but maybe networking with a complex organization or structure would help to communicate between all the teams. Maybe that's what I chose.
All right, thank you. Manmeet, you have chosen option C.
I believe communication skills are really important when it comes to um, channeling the everyone's on same page. And if you want to know the complex power structure of an organization, respectable communication is really important. That's how we become aware of their internal relationships and we know the whereabouts of the organization. Cultural awareness, we don't, that's something we will get aware if we have a better communication skills. If we're open to talk and share, that's how the other person get affected and they share too. So that's why political awareness, I don't think so that something has anything to do with this question. I was not sure about D, so that's why I picked C.
All right. So when we started these Q&A, there was one student, I forgot the name. Whenever he used to, explain, he used to start explaining his answer, he would say, option D doesn't make any sense. So correct answer is option A. I'll tell you why I'm saying this when I explain the answer. Thank you, Manmeet. Okay, Rudy, you have chosen option A.
Yes. Yes, I did. And as most of them, I'm just trying to guess, trying to figure it out. But to me, the reason why I chose A is because it says you're managing a project and organization with a complex power structure. Right here, it says it is crucial to navigate the internal relationships effectively. And so so to me, internal relationship, maybe different cultures are evident in that group. So that's why I chose cultural awareness.
All right, thank you. Okay. Let's read the question. It says you're managing a project in an organization with a complex power structure. So the problem here is complex power structure, right? What is power structure? Power structure is your organizational hierarchy, distribution of power among different actors within the organization, right? To ensure your project success, it is crucial to navigate the relationship. What should you focus on to achieve this? So to understand power structure, you need to have political awareness. Political awareness is a very powerful concept in project management. Whenever you join an organization, you understand the organizational hierarchy, how different actors are organized within the organization. And remember, we talked about the concept of different types of organizational structures. We discussed functional matrix, a functional organization, matrix, strong, weak, balanced, projectized, and composite. The type of organizational structure actually impact how you will be managing the project. The problem that is being discussed in the question is neither communication, it's nor cultural awareness, nothing to do with networking. The problem is it's a complex power structure. So in order to handle or work within this internal power structure, you need to have political awareness. Political awareness directly it is directly linked with power structure. Okay, so if you want to work in this organization, you need to have political awareness. And what is political awareness? Understanding how different actors are structured and organized and how power is distributed among different functions within the organization. So correct answer is option B. Let's read the explanation. All right, next question. All right, Alan, you have chosen option D.
Yeah. So I think that is wrong. For change management, in this case, it doesn't make sense for me because at this point, it's not the statement is not saying like before we have like a change or something like that. Active communication, maybe this could be right because we need to have uh, continuous communication with customer. But for me, make more sense scope validation because we need to understand what is the product scope, what is the product that we are gonna perform. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Alan. Monica, you have chosen option D.
I chose option D for similar reasons. So the customer rejected the product scope because one of the key features was not in line with their request. So I think this is all about, scope and scope validation. And if they
Okay.
would have, yeah.
Okay, but Monica, what's happening in this situation? What exactly is going on here? Isn't it scope validation is already going on? So when customer rejects the product because of a key feature, so this is actually scope validation. What is scope validation? You develop the product and you show it to customer for formal acceptance. This is called scope validation. So you have already done that, and as a result of that, customer has rejected your product. You understand, everybody? So scope validation has already been done. Monica, you understand what I'm saying?
Yep. So should the answer be B, change management?
Why?
Because change management is authorization of any change to the product scope, and that is defined in the configuration management plan. So the configuration management plan is much bigger than change management. So I picked the more specific one.
Okay, right.
That makes sense.
Thank you for detailed explanation. Robin, you have chosen option B.
Yes, the customer wanted a change, and that didn't happen. If a proper change management process had been taken care of, that would have avoided the situation. That's why I chose option B.
All right, thank you. Lala, you have chosen option A.
If I recall, I think we had a similar question that there was like a one key features was not in line with if I recall it, then the answer was configuration management. So I went with the answer A.
All right,
I hope I'm right.
that's a good strategy to come up with the right answer. All right, thank you. So Has, you have chosen option B.
Yeah, I think something similar to what Robin had said. There is a change which has been requested, and that is currently not being seen, right? So how we can avoid this if you had proper change management processes, right?
All right. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for responding. So correct answer is option B. It's change management. Configuration management is something else. Configuration management is making change to documents, right? So for example, let's suppose you have a change, and as a result of change, you need to update some documents. Changing artifacts is called configuration management. But the problem here is not you haven't made a change to the documents. The problem is that a customer rejected the product because one of the key features was not in line with their request. So the product is not in line with the product scope. So the problem is with change management, as Robin mentioned. If we had followed the proper change management process, then we had included this feature in the updated scope baseline, and the product should be in line with the actual product, planned product scope, right? So correct answer is option B. A can't be the right answer. Validation has already been done, so D can't be the right answer. So correct answer is option B. Let's read the explanation. All right, next question. All right, Rudy, you have chosen option A.
No, that was on the previous question.
Okay. Mohan, you have chosen option D.
It's a tough one. It's not A because I remember that pyramid and or I'm sorry, the scale. So I mean, it's technically it could be B, C, and D. I picked B because I think it was like a better motivation um, for the employees or the team. So that's why I picked the. But I could be wrong. It could be basically B as well. But I'm going with D.
All right, thank you. Lala, you have chosen option A.
The Herzberg two factors theory, I think it's about the hygiene factors, right? The work environment, the salary, the compensation. So all of that. That's why when I saw the salary option A and benefits, so I selected that.
All right, thank you. Carlos, you have chosen option C.
Yeah, I think it has to do with accepting employees accepting more authority as well as like promote like the feedback and feeling more involved in their work. That's how I understand it. Maybe it's wrong.
All right, thank you for explanation. So correct answer is, if we read the question again, it says you're managing a team and have noticed a significant level of dissatisfaction. According to Herzberg's two factors theory, what is the most important element to address such dissatisfaction? So we are trying to address dissatisfaction here. And there are two types of factors that we discussed in Herzberg's: hygiene factors and motivators. So hygiene factors, as Lela mentioned, they address dissatisfaction or demotivation. And motivators, they address motivation or satisfaction. So we're not talking about these here. So clear career path, it's a motivator, so can't be the right answer. Purpose-driven work, it's also a motivator. Learning and development opportunity, it's also a motivator. The only hygiene factor is salary and benefits. So the only factor that addresses dissatisfaction is a hygiene factor, that is salary and benefits. So correct answer is option A. Let's read the explanation. All right, next question. All right, Vivek, you have chosen option B.
Actually, I was kind of between B and C. But since B has making team more self-organized and making them empowered by delegating the decision-making authorities, and that's how they will feel responsible. That's why I choose an option B or C. But not sure would be C as the right option as well.
All right.
It's a direct communication to the team also.
All right. Thank you, Vivek. Manmeet, you have chosen option D.
I think, well, I misunderstood, but assessing and evaluating, I believe that it has to be done some way with the communication along with it, because absenteeism and initiative is a very big thing, and it's not only putting off the team, but it's the affecting the whole environment as well. So that's why I picked option D. Assessing and evaluation includes, in my head, it includes communication. Maybe I'm wrong in here, but using the intrinsic and extrinsic motivator factors so that we can encourage them to be on the team and work for it, that made more sense to me.
All right. Thank you. Ken, you have chosen option C.
Yeah, I stumbled into this one yesterday, another question, and it's having a conversation with the team members. I remember from your advice yesterday was always the number one thing to do. And from another question that you answered once before, so anything you do with team members and being collaborative is the way you want to manage through problems. That's why I chose C.
All right, absolutely. So correct answer is option C. Why? Because of two reasons. One reason, first of all, you need to evaluate the situation. So before taking an action, you need to understand the situation. So what's wrong with option A and B? They are actions without understanding the root causes. So you're implementing a structured recognition program, additional training resources. You're taking an action. That's towards solution. Delegation or decision making, again, it's a solution. So first of all, we try to understand the reasons behind that. Now, for reason, we have two options. Option D, assess and evaluate reasons behind demotivation and use a combination. And option C is also understand the concerns or reasons. And the best choice is to have conversation with the team if you really want to understand what's going on. So rather than unilaterally doing the assessment and evaluation, talk to the team member and try to understand their concerns and reasons behind failure or not meeting the agreed protocols or values. So correct answer is option C. Let's read the explanation. All right, next question. All right. Monica, you have chosen option A.
Yeah, so in similar questions, I've always seen that when there's a change request form, it should always route through the CCB. And then they can decide whether to accept or reject it based on the additional time and cost.
All right. Thank you. Francis, you have chosen option C.
Yes, I chose option B because I think from the question, it's a big change. It's gonna, take more time and more resources. So therefore, I think before I send that request to CCB, I think we have to do some evaluation and see if it's within the scope of the project and its objectives. And then from there, we can send it to CCB.
All right. Thank you. So Has, you have chosen option D.
Yeah, the reason I chose option D is because, any change request should be first assessed for its potential impact. And since it's the customer who's asking for it, uh, we can't even deny it. So because of that, I'm not choosing option C. Discussing the impact of change with the requester. I mean, we don't discuss the change with the requester. We ask for any clarification, but don't request. Option A would be done once we assess the impact and then go with option A. So that's why I chose option D.
All right. Thank you. Robin, you have chosen option B.
Yes, as my thoughts were, as we know what the financial and scheduling changes are, and they're quite substantial, we need to first discuss that with the requester, because maybe he didn't realize what the impact was. Quite a big number, and an additional time. Maybe he didn't realize that. So we need to discuss that first. So that's why I chose option B.
All right. Thank you. Rudy, you have chosen option D.
The same reason, I think his name Robin said, because we already have identified it's going to take an additional 6 months and 600,000. So we already know where we've identified what's going to happen. So we need to discuss with the requester to say, hey, it's going to be another 6 months and 600,000, and try to work it out with him, see if that's acceptable or not.
Okay, so thank you, Rudy, for explanation. Let's read the question again. It says a customer has requested a change through the change request form. Means they are following a change control process, number one, right? Upon preliminary analysis, which is conducted by a project manager, it is found that the change would require an additional 6 months and $600,000. As a project manager, what should you do next? Now, the decision to if the change should be forward to the CCB, it depends on the level of authority. So project manager has some level of authority. If the change is within that level of authority, that would be processed by the project manager. If the change is beyond that threshold, that would be forwarded to change control board. I hope it is clear to you. So step number one is we should have clarity about what's the authority. Since there is no mention of authority level, we're not sure if 600,000 is within the level of authority of project manager or outside of the authority. So we cannot make a decision here like we should send the change to the change control board for approval. So we can eliminate option A here. So it says as a project manager, what should you do next? Option C, evaluate whether the change is within the project scope and objective. There is no indication of objective and scope here, and it is done before the actual number or impact analysis. So for example, we see, if you are constructing a house, if the product or the feature that is requested, if it is in line or it is relevant to the house, then it is within the scope. So numbers do not define if it is within the scope or not. So C can't be the right answer. Convene a team meeting to assess the viability of the potential impact. We don't do that. viability of the potential impact, that is done by the CCB. And already, for example, if project manager has done that, team is already involved, right? So team is not separate. So if you have come up with these numbers, this is a collaborative effort. This is not an effort of an individual or a project manager. So correct answer is discuss the impact of change with the requester. And as Robin and some of you have mentioned other reasons, like whenever a change is requested by a requester and it has an impact, that impact should be communicated to the requester so that they are aware what would be the consequences. So it's not like that you get the change approved, you incorporate in your scope baseline, and then customer or the requester says, oh no, I can't afford 600,000, so please delete it. So after preliminary assessment, you discuss the change with the requester to see if it is still they can afford it or still they agree with that. So correct answer is option B. Let's read the explanation.
Amar, why can't option A? Because hello, Amar, why not option A? I couldn't get that.
Sorry, what?
What is wrong with option A? Send the change to the change request. Since the assessment is also done, we can actually ask for the change control board to approve it, right? Before doing it with the customer.
Yes, I have explained that because we are not sure about the authority level, right? The decision if you need to send a change or you need to approve it, it depends on level of authority of product manager. If the change is within the authority level of product manager, there is no need to send the change to the CCB. Not all the changes go to the CCB. Only those changes go to the CCB which are above the threshold. So we have no idea about threshold. And second, before sending to CCB, we need to seek buy-in of the requester so that they are aware of the impact. That's why sending the change to the CCB and getting it approved without informing the requester wouldn't be useful, because ultimately requester has to make a decision if they are still willing to make a change. So first you need to discuss the impact. That's why option B is correct.
So the sequence is basically do the impact analysis, then convey the impact analysis to the requester, and then convey the information to the CCB, right?
Absolutely. No, not convey the information to the CCB. The sequence is that you perform the preliminary impact assessment. If impact is within the authority level of project manager, PM approves it. If it is beyond that, it is forwarded to the CCB for approval. But at the same time, requester, you need to have requesters buy-in since it's a substantial impact. So you need to inform the requester, like, this is the impact. Are you still willing to proceed with the change? If they say yes, maybe then you will be sending to CCB. So keeping the requester in loop about the impact is really important. That's why option A is not correct. Option B is correct.
Thanks, sir.
All right, next question. All right, Carlos, you have chosen option D.
Yeah, I think the understanding why people are leaving, when people are leaving, they tend to say, or in my experience, they tend to tell the truth of why they're leaving. Maybe it's low wages, maybe it's I don't know, overworked. So you can get a lot of information from that, and it's very concise.
All right, thank you. Monica, you have chosen option B.
Yeah, so it says you have a high turnover rate, and so my first thought is that you want to understand why you have a high turnover rate. So I selected B.
All right, thank you. Basma, you have chosen option B.
Yeah, because actually it doesn't make sense that there is a high turnover rate and then the employees are happy. That doesn't make sense at all. So it could be because it was not done in the proper way,
Okay.
which is why I took B.
Okay, thank you. Robin, you have chosen option C.
The health survey shows promising results, indicating that employees are happy. So you want to understand if that's correct. So option C would fit with that. Although I'm still a bit between C and D. That's why I chose option C.
All right, thank you. Alan, you have chosen option A.
Yeah, for me, this is a tricky one. Being honest, I feel like if the survey was done anonymously, because the statement doesn't, for example, the turnover rate doesn't met with the actual results of the survey. So that is why I choose option A.
All right, thank you, Alan, for detailed explanation. So this question is almost similar to the question that we already discussed, right? There was a discrepancy between what team lead was saying and what actual numbers were representing. So what's happening here? You have a higher turnover rate, which is obvious, right? You have it, right? It's a present situation. There is no uncertainty about that. There is no confusion about that. It's clear you have a higher turnover rate. However, the organizational health survey shows promising results indicating that employees are happy with the organization and would like to continue working for the long term. So on one side, we have a higher turnover rate, means people are leaving. On the other side, the survey shows people want to work. So first of all, you need to understand this discrepancy, like why there is a difference between what's happening in actual and what are the results of the survey. The correct answer is option A, C, if the survey was done anonymously and the results are in line with reality, right? So before going towards higher turnover rate or looking at or appreciating the positive results, first of all, you need to understand what is right, what's going on here. And the question says, what should you do first to understand the situation? So the first action to see if the survey results are in line with reality or not, right? And maybe you need to conduct another survey. So option A is correct. Option B, understand the reasons behind the high turnover rate despite positive survey results. So we are not sure if the survey results are positive or not. So there is no point of doing that. Conduct interviews with the current employees to understand their feelings and thoughts. You have already done that in the form of survey, and that shows that they are very happy. Conduct exit interviews with departing employees to gather insights on why they are leaving. That's a good step, but before understanding why the survey results are positive, there is no point of doing D. So D might be the second option. First, you understand the results, and then you go with the exit interviews. So correct answer is option A. Let's read the explanation. All right, next question. All right, Carlos, you have chosen option D.
Yeah, I'm between C and D, but if you have initial project funding agreement, then they should have enough and not just inform that they were not able to provide. That's my thought.
All right. So you're saying, Carlos, if you had agreement and documentation, then funding agency cannot say they're not able to provide, right? This is what you're saying?
Yeah, they would secure the funds and not just say, hey, we don't have any more in the middle.
All right, thank you. So Has, you have chosen option B.
Yeah, it looks like, we are looking for additional budget, and if you would have done proper risk management, ensuring that, we plan them well, we, basically thinking ahead and ensuring that we know what all the unforeseen issues we're going to see. If we plan them well, we could have managed it better. That's why I chose risk management. Contingency reserves are anyways part of the initial budget. So option D and C are basically we already have some initial budget being there. Uh, so only way we can do is having a comprehensive risk management planning. Regular communication and status update with funding agency. I mean, I'm not sure how does that help, but I
All
thought
right,
option
thank
D.
you. Robin, you have chosen option B.
Yes, I considered if we had an alternative plan in place to cover the risk of exactly what's happened here. We could put that into place, and we wouldn't have to stop the project, which is really the issue that we're dealing with now. And I didn't think that any of the other options provided for that.
All right, thank you everybody for detailed explanation. So if we read the question, it says in the middle of the project, the funding agency informs you that they're not able to provide more funds due to budget constraints, right? So even if you are having regular communication and status updates, still they can inform you, right? At any point in time. So for example, you have been communicating with them due to any sudden situation, they can inform you like they are not able to provide any funding. So A can't be the right answer. Option D, detailed initial project funding agreements. Even if you have an agreement, still there could be a situation where they're not able to provide funds. So for example, you have an agreement in place, like they would be providing funds. Despite the agreement, still there could be a situation where they're not able to provide that fund. So D can't be the right answer. Having a contingency reserve in the project budget, like they're saying they're not able to provide funds. So how contingency reserve would be helpful in that? Contingency reserve is also a fund, right? So they're saying they're not able to provide funds. That's the problem. So C can't be the right answer. So correct answer is comprehensive risk management planning. As Robin mentioned, the key word is alternative. You need to have alternatives, okay? So correct answer is option B. Let's read the explanation. All right, next question. All right, Vivek, you have chosen option A.
don't remember about the S curve graph. So Gantt chart and bar chart are, I know that that cannot be used for sure. So cumulative flow diagram could be the correct answer where we can show the schedule and cost uh, relationship, and we can like uh, according to the progress how much cost is consumed, we can get the like clear picture with this particular type of diagram.
All right, thank you. Alan, you have chosen option D.
Yeah, so for me, the Gantt chart show you all the activities and the milestones of the project, so you can track all the progress of the project. SQ graph and bar chart. I don't remember exactly the way to explain, but it's for another kind of analysis.
All right. So Haas, you have chosen option C.
Yeah, bar chart and Gantt chart, if I'm not wrong, shows the task-wise details. So I believe it can't be. Now, only concern I had was between CFD and S curve. CFD, more than CFD, I felt S curve is more because it gives you what has been cumulatively done over a period of time. Although CFD also does the same, but I believe CFD is to basically verify the difference between what is done and what is, where are the bottlenecks. So here, S-curve gives more information of how it is over a period of time cumulatively. That's why I thought of it.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for detailed explanation. So question says you need to track and analyze the cumulative progress of the project's cost and schedule performance over time. Okay. So CFD talks about completed work or work in progress or work to do at any point in time in a cumulative term. So you can see work in different stages in CFD, but it doesn't talk about cost performance. That's the problem with CFD. CFD talks about work, how much work has been accomplished so far, how much work was planned, how much work is being done. So you can see cumulative work at any stage at any point in time. So A can't be the right answer. Bar chart and Gantt chart, these are not for cumulative progress. These are for individual activity progress. So the only option that gives you cumulative progress of cost and schedule is S-curve graph. So if you read it, if you look at it, this is S-curve of earned value analysis. So at any point in time, you can see what is your cost variance, what is your time variance. So this curve looks like letter S, so we call it S-curve, right? And this is widely used in earned value analysis, right? So correct answer is option C, S-curve graph. All right, everybody, there is an update. So we have Priya with us. She has just passed her exam today, and she would be sharing her lessons learned. Those who want to stay, you can learn how she passed the exam. So after this session, we will be talking to Priya, okay? All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining today's session. I hope you have learned a lot. Also, my next course is starting on 27th of July. Those who are watching on YouTube, you ask how you can join. You can simply join. Either you can scan this QR code to schedule a one-on-one meeting with me, right? So this is simple and easy. Or you can contact here, just say hi, and my team would be sharing all the details with you. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Take good care of yourself. I'll see you tomorrow with an interesting lesson.